If something catastrophic happened to you today, how would you react? How would you use that event to redefine yourself and become a stronger, fitter, and more resilient person? Hi, I'm Tara, and welcome to episode number 151 of the Flying Runner podcast. On this episode, we're continuing with themes of resilience, transformation, and what it truly means to go beyond limits, but in a much more personal and deeply human way. We're incredibly honoured to be joined today by Kerryn Harvey, an author, an athlete, and one of the most inspiring people you're likely to ever encounter. With her powerful new memoir, Mostly Ups, set for release this July, Kerryn will share her story. We'll explore how she has rebuilt her life after suffering a traumatic injury that resulted in the amputation of her arm and her shoulder. From representing Australia as a para-triathlete to running marathons across the globe to helping others reframe their own challenges, Kerryn's journey is a powerful reminder of what's possible when we refuse to be limited by circumstance. So whether you're a runner, an athlete, or simply someone who needs a reminder of just how strong the human spirit can be, you're going to want to stay for this one. As you know, we love running and sharing our adventures of running around the world. We are the only podcast with 5 7-star world major marathon runners, and this is the Flying Runner podcast. Are you ready to run? Let's go.
Teach the flying runner, run far, run free. Host the 7 stars, inclusive as can be. It's the flying runner for you and me.
Let's go. Welcome back. Let me introduce you to our very special guest for this week's show, Kerryn Harvey. Kerryn, welcome to our show. Thank you very much for coming on.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I feel quite honoured to be here amongst you all.
Absolutely. I think we're all honoured to have you with us. So. And in addition to Kerryn, I'm also joined by our regular co-hosts tonight. So I've got Tony, Peter, Lucia, and of course, Tim. Guys, it's great to see you all again. And Peter, welcome back from your recent overseas holiday. How was it?
Thank you, Tara. It's so nice to be back with you all and be back in a regular routine. The holiday was amazing. Just if the listeners don't know, I went on a trip with my mum to Lisbon, London and Venice, which was incredible. And while there was a lot of wine tastings and port tastings being thrown my way, I got tired of that pretty quickly and was doing my best to keep up a running routine, but then we sort of both got ill at the end. So I've spent the last couple of weeks getting over a cold and just trying to get things back to normal because, as we all know, Gold Coast is in 4 weeks' time. So just looking forward to getting back into a regular routine. But I did miss you all very much.
We missed you too, Peter. And Tony, how's the update on the knee surgery going?
Yes, Peter, we did miss you, and it's a shame you got sick because some of the pics that I saw from your holiday looked absolutely amazing. So, what is it? A week and 2 days since surgery. I'm walking around okay. There's I feel like the knee doesn't have the full range of movement yet, but I'm guessing just continuing the exercise will help that. I'm actually feeling quite good about things at the moment. So I might go for a walk in the morning. I haven't been doing anything outside of just normally getting around and doing my rehab exercises. But yeah, feeling pretty good.
Excellent. So, watch out, Brisbane. You'll be seeing Tony flying around the streets again soon.
Not until the Gold Coast is actually 6 weeks from the surgery. So, you know, there is a little bit of thought here that I might be able to shuffle around in the 10 and the 5 and we'll see how we go. So, but anyway, not counting on it.
And Luke, how was your weekend?
Yeah, it was a good one. Had a good training weekend, which was good. On Saturday, I joined one of the Sydney Marathon Partner Run Club's Rejuve runners for their long run. So theirs was 18, but I ran to Centennial Park, so I ended up doing 22, which is good. So Sunday I had nothing planned. The plan was don't put an alarm on. When I wake up, I wake up. 7 o'clock, and my mum comes into my room. Wake up, is everything all right? Because I don't. For me, sleeping until 7 o'clock doesn't happen. And Mum thought something, and she thought that something was wrong. And I'm like, the one day I can have a sleeping, and you wreck it for me. But overall, a good week of training.
Excellent, excellent. And Tim, you can talk about ours.
I can talk about ours. We had a pretty good week. On the weekend, we went to Harris Avenue Parkrun, and for a change, we didn't actually know anyone there. It was really weird to turn up to a parkrun and not recognise any familiar faces. But it was a good run anyway. We just chatted and took it easy, knowing that we had a long run the next day, 25 Ks on Sunday for Tara and I. We got to run it with our son Patrick, who's also doing the Gold Coast Double. Typical 20, almost 21-year-olds who is invincible, thinks he can run non-stop, thinks he knows everything. So it was interesting to get him out there. He was tiring towards the end. He was getting a little bit of pain there, but give him credit. He's handling it all right, and he's getting through the distance. And Tara, again, keeps on improving over the long distance. Everything's starting to click in, which is great for this time of year. So, yeah, all pretty promising for us.
It's taken a while, but it's finally got there for me. And Kerryn, what about you? Are you training at the moment, or are you still on recovery mode from London?
I've kind of finished recovery. Just started running again last week or so. So I did a big 10 on Saturday. That's where I'm at right now. And then a bit like Peter, I had a party to go to on Saturday night, a 60th. So my plan was to do nothing on Sunday and have no alarm, which never, I always have an alarm when I'm up early. I made it to 8 o'clock. So I was pretty impressed with myself to get to 8.
Excellent. It's always nice when you can get a sleep on the weekend.
Yeah.
Tony, any feedback that we want to share, or?
Yeah, we did. We had some feedback from Shaylee, of course, which you guys shared. And the thing that I found really confusing with that, Shaylee, was that you believe Lucia brings the comedy and lightness. So does that mean everyone else has to step up their game in the comedy and lightness stakes? I don't know. I thought I'm pretty funny at times too, but obviously I didn't get a mention for comedy. We do know that.
What can I say?
Yeah, what can you say? Vic Miles is running Cape Town in 2027. She shared with us, so that was a pretty cool one. And so is our UK correspondent. He is going to be doing, based on his comment back to us on YouTube, he had some friends run it this year. He reckons the race merch was great. He thinks Tim got it wrong with the hill at the end. It was just a minor slope and not as extreme as what Tim had heard. But it looks like he's going to be running with a friend in Cape Town in 2027. So maybe that's going to be the first time we ever meet our UK correspondent. So, but once again, thanks, Mark, for the commentary. Thanks, Vic, and thanks, Shaylee. Always good to hear from our listeners.
Excellent. Thanks, Tony. So this week, as I'm hosting, I'm not going to be doing the trivia. So I'm going to pass that one over to Peter. So, Peter, what's the clue for this week's trivia?
Okay, guys, you ready for this? Well, this week it's a what am I? I'm an object. More than an object, though. I'm a popular tourist attraction. I'm located in one of the cities of the first 6 world major marathons. That's clue number 1.
Well, that gives us a lot to go by, doesn't it?
Yep. I'm not going to make it easy for you.
Go a little bit further with my clues.
Statue of Liberty.
You get 2 more. No, it's not, Tim.
Am I on the right track?
You are on the right track. Like a lot of tourists go there, of course. So, Yep, you're on the right. I'll tell you, you're in the correct country. How about that? That's being very generous of me.
I'm going to make a stab in the dark here, and I'm going to say that this particular tourist attraction was actually fenced off and being reconstruction around while we were in that city in 2023.
Copley Place.
Can't confirm or deny that because I don't know. Which city were you in 2023?
We're in Chicago. We were in Berlin. And there was another one there. We did Boston as well. So we did.
Yeah, you can't sort of forget Boston, Tony.
He'd like to.
I'd like to. Anyway, let's get to the next part. So, Tim, what's been happening around the world this week in the news?
Thanks, Tara. Just quickly on the news this week, we have the very first person in the world to achieve 1,000 park runs walked and or run. The achievement goes to Darren Wood, who, as I said, has become the first person to achieve 5,000 kilometres of running at parkrun and walking. And he's taken 22 years to achieve 1,000 parkruns. It means he's pretty much attended every single Saturday without missing one. Even if he attended every single parkrun on a Saturday without missing one, it would still take roughly 19 years to achieve the 1,000 parkruns. So it's a long achievement to get there, but he has been involved in parkrun since the second ever parkrun event took place at Bushy Parkrun way back in whenever that was, 2004. So he is a lifelong parkrunner. Over time, his focus has shifted from chasing personal bests to embracing the community aspect, and he's participated at 120 different locations and has over 400 volunteer credits. He's even started up his own parkruns in the past. He's been run directors and event directors as well. So he's really embraced parkrun for what it is. And anyone who was on social media and saw videos of him talking about it is quite a humble person. He wasn't somebody out there who was out there to do the big break. And for anyone who's interested, the colour of the 1,000 parkrun T-shirt is yellow. So we saw copies of the versions of the yellow shirt on social media as well. So well done to Darren Wood, for achieving his parkrun achievement. Now, Tara and I, we recently achieved 500 parkruns each, but this is another level altogether. So 22 years of parkrunning, which is just awesome. How awesome is that, guys?
Very, very cool.
It's insane.
It's pretty cool.
So how many Ks is that? Oh no!
5,000.
Don't. I
5 times 1,000. I wonder.
Lucia, I think it's more impressive that I've got 14 park runs, and I haven't succumbed to the peer pressure of doing parkrun every Saturday. So I think that's even more impressive.
I don't even think I've got 30 park runs. So Tony, I think, yeah, high five you.
Kerryn, are you a park runner?
I can park run about 4 times a year because I work on a Saturday morning. So I binge over Christmas, New Year. I try and get 4 in because you do Christmas Day, Saturday, and then another Saturday and then a New Year's Day. So that's my binge, and then I can normally do maybe another couple a year. That's it. But
I think I'd have to get a new job.
I have considered that, but it's my own business, so it's pretty hard to walk away just for parkrun.
Can't flatter yourself, can you?
One of the things that got me was he was talking about, it's great. You go to parkrun on a Saturday morning, and in the UK, they start parkrun at 9 o'clock, which means it's about 10 o'clock by the time you finish in the morning. And he goes, and by the time you finish and then you go off and have breakfast somewhere and catch up with people, quite often it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon by the time you get home. And here I am thinking, we're well and done for the day at that time. We've already done our parkrun, had our breakfast, gone off and done other things and come home and settled down to watch some footy or something. And he's only just coming home from parkrun. So it was pretty amazing to hear. But no, well done, Darren. A great achievement. And that's the news this week, Tara.
Excellent. Thanks, Tim. So before we go on to the main topic tonight, we're going to get Peter's next clue for the night.
All right. So I am 100% free to visit, and I'm incredibly heavy. I weigh about 110 ton.
Ooh, I
That's
think
your
I have an
remedy.
idea. No.
Tim, I've already said no.
Is it the jelly bean in Chicago? Well, what they call the jelly bean.
It's just the bean. The bean.
Oh, the bean.
The bean.
Maybe.
That would have been my guess, the bean.
Good guess.
Was that-
Good guess.
Was that
Like
fenced
it?
off when you were there, Tony?
It was under construction when we were there in 2023, as in they were putting new tiles, so there was a fence all around it. And so we
Okay.
were sneaking our cameras or our phones in through the wire mesh to try and get photos of it. So, yeah, we'll
Ooh.
see.
Maybe it's not.
I'd laugh if we're in a completely wrong city here, so we'll wait and see. Anyway, let's get on to the main topic for tonight, which is Kerryn. Kerryn, I'm going to ask a couple of questions. Feel free just to spit them out as you feel free. I'll ask the first one and everyone else will just go around. But one of my first questions is, how did you get into running and why?
Well, I've kind of been running all my life, starting from little aths way back in the 70s. And it's just always been part of my life in one way, shape or form, in between doing a lot of other sports. But I've always used it as like a backup way of keeping fit, in between playing netball and hockey and everything else, and squash. And then every now and then I've just, run a fun run or a half marathon or a marathon and just build up and use running as my main discipline, sporting discipline. And in triathlon, obviously, there's always a run. So it's just always been there. I've had some breaks along the way, which is for injury and illness and things, but it's been with me since I can remember.
Kerryn, some of us have met you at marathons right around the world, New York, Outback Marathon. I think Sharon and I first met you. So I'm intrigued as to how many marathons you've actually raced and what majors have you been to? And then as a little bit of a side note, because we're getting really good at using side notes as a bit of a conversation thing here. What are some of your memories of those events that you've run?
Well, I've just done number 20, which was London 4 weeks ago, or however long now, 5 weeks. Majors, Tokyo was my first one, 2024. And then I did New York just on a whim. Managed to get a spot with Travelling Fit. So when they said yes, I thought, I have to go and do it now because you never know when you're going to get another opportunity. So I grabbed that. And then last year I did Berlin and then this year London. So I've got 4 under my belt so far, aiming for the original 6. Not so sure about after that. Don't know yet. If they keep adding them, it just keeps on getting further and further away the goal. So
it does, doesn't it? So Tokyo 2024, Sharon and I got our 6 star at that particular event. So that must have been an amazing memory for you to see Sharon. No, I'm kidding. What has been one of those favourite memories that you've had of running marathons?
Well, obviously outside of the highlight of seeing you get your 6 stars, they're all so different and special in their own way. Like Tokyo being my first, it sort of blows your mind. And that was fascinating with what was on offer on course as far as their nutrition and just the politeness of everyone, how structured and organised it was and just, spotless. And you couldn't drop a gel wrapper if someone would be there to pick it up before it even hit the ground. So that was interesting. But New York was probably my favourite, my second one. That just blew my mind. It blew my mind how amazing the atmosphere was and just the people and the crowd and, just even now thinking about it just sends shivers up my spine. And the course, I love the course. I love the undulations. I just love all the different burrows we ran through. So that was extraordinary. Berlin was not a great experience. That was last year. That was stinking hot. So right from the get-go, it was really hard. I just struggled. For about 5K on, I knew I was in trouble, and that's never a good sign. So I literally had to just survive for the 42K, but I just kept saying over and over, I'm not going home without my medal. There's no way I'm leaving this country without my medal and my star. So that was, not the greatest, but at the end I finished, so that's all that really matters. And then London, I love London as well, love the course, love the people, and we had a perfect day. That was a bit like New York as far as crowds and atmosphere. So I really, really enjoyed that. And the finish line is just so iconic. It doesn't get any better than that. Running past Buckingham Palace is just, it was just great.
Nice. I think we've all got a bit in common there. I think for many of us, maybe not Tim, but at least one of our world majors was an absolute shocker. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. But Kerryn, you've recently penned a book called Mostly Ups and due to come out shortly on bookstands. So what motivated you to write the book?
Well, I didn't motivate myself. It was other people that motivated me. So since I lost my arm 13 years ago, people have just been at me over and over that how you need to write a book, Kerryn. You've got to write a book. You've got this great story, and I'm like, I can't think I can write a book. I don't know how to write a book, and I don't have the time, and I just didn't feel like I'd ever be able to. And I was never kind of in the right headspace to go back there and put myself through it. So it was only in the last probably 2.5 years I sort of thought, you know what, I think I'm in the right spot in my life now where I want to do it, I'm motivated, and I want to get the story out because I reckon I've got a lot to share. So I went down the path of trying to find someone to help me write it. I joined an organisation called the Expert Author Community, and they helped me learn how to write a book from go to woe, like building structure and who your audience is, and how to structure your paragraphs and sentences and chapters. So that's been really good. And so now, 2 years later, I'm about to publish. So it'll be July the 24th. It'll come out, and yeah, really excited about it. It's been a massive journey, like a marathon, but a different version of one. But yeah, really excited that I've actually been able to do it, put pen to paper, and just seen the journey out to this point.
Oh, that sounds very exciting because normally, well, I would just think that it would just be easy to write a book, but kind of like writing an essay, but no, it sounds way more complicated. Kerryn, as we said in the intro earlier, you were, unfortunately, you were involved in a life-changing accident a number of years ago. From a sporting and fitness perspective, what was your life like prior to the incident?
So I've always been sporty. Yeah, I was a triathlete, middle of the road finisher. Did every distance, from sprint distance right up through to Ironman. And outside of that, a lot of cycling, went on a lot of long distance cycling holidays, like multi-day, just a lot of open water swimming, running, fun runs, you name it, I was doing it. So I was very, very fit at the time of my accident. In fact, initially I was on my bike when I had my accident, so it was all started from a sporting event. And I was very fortunate. I was very fit because that helped me through that very difficult time in my life. So it played a big part in my life. Most of my friends, probably like you guys, are involved in sport, and that's the people you just hang out with every weekend or in your free time. It's just what we do. That was me.
I think that was pretty much everyone. I think that was everyone in our vintage back then. Everyone tended to play sport and do active things all the time, didn't they? So you've mentioned a bike accident. Let's go back to that moment, I guess, if that's okay, and for our listeners so they can understand what happened. And also, I guess, what do you remember from that accident and then the early stages as things started to escalate quickly for you from that accident?
Sure. So I was just knocked off my bike over in Adelaide and had a minor accident, cut up my arm a bit, just grazes and bruising and, things like that. Ended up in hospital overnight for observation, got out the next day, went back to the hotel to rest. And it was that following night, when I woke up in absolute agony and turned on the light and had a look at my arm, and it was swollen to almost twice its size. And horrifyingly, there was a whole of these blood blisters just growing before my eyes. And I felt so sick and nauseous and didn't know what was going on. I was with from some friends at the time. I called an ambulance. And honestly, I don't even remember the ambulance ride to hospital. I don't remember anything that happened for about 10 days after that. By the time I woke up, I found out what had happened. And what had happened was I'd picked up a flesh-eating bacteria from off the road where I'd had my initial cycling accident, and that had got into my bloodstream. And within sort of 30 hours, it had become life-threatening. So I ended up in Royal Adelaide Hospital, and straight away I was taken into emergency surgery, and they were battling this bacteria for many, many hours, trying to stay in front of it because it's very fast-moving. And at the end of the day, they couldn't save my arm. It was just pretty much being destroyed as I was trying to cut away this bacteria. So when I woke up 10 days later, I had come out of being in multiple organ failure. I'd been on life support. I was a very, very sick girl and very, very fortunate to still be alive because they gave me very little chance of surviving through the first few days. But fortunately, my fitness, which I was telling you about, probably saved my life.
Yeah, that's
So,
crazy.
Yeah. So it's hard to sort of explain what I felt like at that time because when I first woke up, it was so many days later and I was so fueled by drugs that I really didn't really know. It took me actually weeks to actually understand what had happened to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So with that, you said you were given a very small chance of survival. That was like actually less than 5% chance of survival that you actually had from what I know. How does that actually shape your perspective on life and second chances now? Like I know myself, I've got a pacemaker because my heart has failed and has actually stopped on me. I've had that second chance of life as well. So I know myself what it means, but I haven't been through the trauma that you have. What is your perspective on it all?
Oh, well, you'd probably relate to this, Tara. It just drives you to live your best life and don't waste it and just make the most of every day and be grateful for what you have and get your bucket list going and start ticking it off because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know, to me, it's just this, I was already a driven person, but it's just taken it to a whole new level. So I want to make the most of everything oh, sorry, here comes my cat. Is this allowed?
Your cat's allowed.
She'll probably come back up in a sec. I do apologise. Yeah, so it drives me every day to create the best life I can for myself.
You wake up and appreciate every sunrise, don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. I like every day for me now is a bonus because I really did beat the odds. I shouldn't be here. I'm very fortunate that I still am. And also for the people that went out of their way to keep me alive, you know, the staff and all my family and friends that were involved in my care, you know, it wouldn't be fair on them if I just curled up in a corner and thought, oh, well, yeah, life's too hard, I'm going to give up. I owe them, you know, to make the best of this life that they helped they helped give me this next chance. So I want to make the most of it.
And do you think having that sporting background and that strong mind for having that sporting background has helped you with that attitude to keep going?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I drew a lot on my Ironman experience. I did an Ironman the year before my accident. And, you know, I don't know if any of you guys have done Ironman before, but it makes marathons.
I'm not that crazy.
A walk in the park. But no, not really. Marathons are all hard. But yeah, I could draw on those experiences, and because you go through your ups and downs in an Ironman, and you know, throughout that day, because it's a very long day out there, and it was just a different type of going through all the ups and downs through my recovery, and I could sort of, I knew if I can do an Ironman, I can push through hard things. You know, I can things are going to get better. You just sometimes got to endure for a bit and just hold on tight, and you'll come good and go through a good phase again before the next part of the roller coaster comes along again. So I did draw on that experience and helped a lot, I think.
So, Kerryn, obviously something like that just really does not a lot of good, I guess, for our sense of identity, our sense of worth, our sense of who we are. But you've got a bit of a saying where you talk about not being defined by your circumstances, and you've obviously built up who you are authentically from that. I'm just interested, what role did sport play in that? Because we've heard about how sport held you together during those really tough times, but who you are now, what role has, since the accident, I guess, what role has sport or running or whatever has played in that?
Yeah, interesting question, Tony, because I was getting back into sport was actually one of my first goals, or not necessarily getting back into sport, regaining some fitness and just to be independent and be able to, you know, just get around without needing assistance. That was kind of like one of my first goals. And it kind of grew from there. It was one of the most important things that I wanted to do was to get fit and hopefully get back to doing the sports that I really loved, which is obviously swim, ride, run. So that every time I did sort of achieve these mini goals, like going for my first little run or getting on a bike or doing a dodgy version of freestyle in the pool, it gave me confidence to start working on other aspects of my life, like working out what I was going to do for work and learning how to drive again and just everything that I had to really learn how to do so much. But sport was really the catalyst for that, because it did help grow my confidence to start attacking all the other things that I needed to do to live a full life and be able to do everything independently and as best as I could. So I think it was a major, major influence.
Kerryn, if there's someone listening to you and your story that feels very limited by their own challenges or their own barriers in life, what helped you break through your barriers of feeling like I can't, if you felt like that during your recovery process?
Yeah, another good question. And I was definitely early on, I remember thinking, I'll never run again. I'll never swim again. I'll never ride a bike again. I'll never be able to do triathlons again. Because I just couldn't not see for the life of me how anything like that was ever going to be possible. But once you start, you might have like this big picture that, maybe one day I will, but how do you get there? It was about breaking it down into smaller, minute goals. My first goal was to be able to sit up in my bed in hospital, and then it became to stand and then to walk to a chair 2 steps away and then to get to the door. And it just grows from there. So I just set these tiny, weeny goals that just became stepping stones, and then just built from there. And I celebrated all those stepping stones as well. So I reckon that helped as well. Like, I've achieved that. That's fantastic. What do I do next? And, you might not believe you're going to get to that end big picture goal, but the self-belief grows. The more you do and the more you achieve, the more the self-belief grows and the more you're trying to get to that end, whatever that end goal is. So I would say, yeah, setting those really tiny mini goals and just chipping them off one at a time. And also not giving up, despite, you'll have setbacks, but don't give up on what you're trying to achieve.
Excellent. Just very, very true words. And becoming a para triathlete and a marathon runner is incredible. What drew you to endurance sport, and what are some of the challenges that you find in these sports that able-bodied athletes may not consider or have to think about or don't exist?
I don't know what drew me to endurance sports. I think it was a pretty silly idea, really. But yeah, because every time I'm in a marathon, I think, why am I here?
I say that every time as well.
Why am I doing this? It's not fun at the moment.
Every life choice is contemplated at 30 Ks, isn't it?
Yeah, I come from a family of endurance athletes. So my 2 brothers are both marathon runners. And I just wanted, I did my first marathon at 24, just because I wanted to be the last one in the family to actually run a marathon. And I always knew I'd do another one after that because I had a pretty good experience, but it was actually 16 years before I ran another one. And that was a long story, but yeah, there's a reason why I did that one. I had a good why, I suppose. Yeah, and same with the Ironman. It grew from I'm going to do a sprint distance, and now, I might do an Olympic distance, and then I'll do a half Ironman. And then you go, well, there's only one thing left to do now, isn't there? So it's all been a bit like that. But I love the camaraderie around endurance athletes. And, you get in a marathon, you have all these interesting conversations with people from all over the world, and everyone's, it brings everyone down to the same level. And I really like that. And I love the aftermath, the after party where you share all the war stories and horror stories, whatever. I just really enjoy that so much. Yeah, it just ticks all my boxes for me.
And what do you think are some of the considerations in which able-bodied people don't have to think about versus a para-triathlete or a para-marathon runner? Like, what are some of the differences in which you would have to think about for those events?
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you do your runners-up?
Yes.
So I use elastic laces, because that was what I was using in triathlon anyway. There's a lot of things, it's a lot of little logistical things. For me, one of the big things with running initially, especially, was balance, like running with one arm, and I lost my centre of gravity, so everything kind of shifted. So that took a lot of getting used to, and of course that can result in some injuries and just niggles because you're kind of a little bit off centre. It's logistical things. How do I'm trying to think of some other things that I dealt with in London recently. How do you pin your number on? I can't pin my number on. I've got no one there that I know. I've got to ask someone to help pin my number on. How do I get my watch on? Who starts my watch at the start? I had to deal with that in London. I'm looking around for someone going, who can I ask? Who looks like they'll help me with my watch? And inevitably I ran into someone and asked her, and she happened to be with Travelling Fit. I didn't recognise her, so that was funny. So it's little things. I'm always have to think about how I deal with all this stuff. Usually I have to think about it before I go out. What if this happens? Who will be able to help me, or what will I do? So it's always in the back of my mind, especially in a new country or in a new situation. And running is very much like that still. There's always new situations where I have to think, well, what do I do here? So it's not just go out and run and just be mindless about it. I have to be mindful.
And I guess
that would mean you have to. Sorry, you get
Kerryn. Sorry, yeah. I'm just thinking about you on a bike. Like you sort of need your two arms to ride a bike, or at least the shoulder part of it, because that's your like. I couldn't imagine trying to ride a bike without an arm. That would be so difficult.
It was difficult and actually quite scary, I must admit. I ride a road bike. I don't really ride it anymore, but when I was racing, I was on a road bike that was modified, so I had all the gears and brakes on the left-hand side, so everything just changed quite easily. But, yeah, it was very hard on the body, especially in long course. Just being in that position, hanging off one arm, like my wrist and my elbow and my shoulder would just be so on my back. So hard going, but also when you're on a road that you might not know very well and there might be a few bumps or things you're not expecting, really scary if you've got to brake suddenly and you're trying to brake with one arm and unclip so I had a few hair-raising moments. The bike was probably the hardest thing for me.
And I would imagine running without somebody there to stop your watch at the end, you don't always know what time you ran either necessarily, I would imagine.
Well, I've learned how to stop it with my teeth. The start. So I'm fine with the end. It's the start. I'm usually like, oh, what if I miss? And what if I don't even start my watch? Like, oh my God, the stats.
Yeah.
But I can't actually do it up. So I always have to ask someone to actually put it on my wrist for me.
Yeah. And for our and for our listeners online who are listening and can't see you physically, it's not just your right arm, it's your right arm and shoulder as well that's been removed. Were you right-handed beforehand or left-handed?
Well, I actually was left-handed, which was a little bit lucky. So I did make things slightly easier, especially like learning to write and, just having the strength already in that arm to do things. So, yeah, I can't imagine how much harder it would have been because it was hard enough if it was your other arm. Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the day-to-day challenges of traveling around the world, grabbing backpacks and bags and loading them into taxis or into trains and dragging them upstairs and into hotels and emptying bags in hotel rooms and all that sort of stuff. Are they the sort of things that are difficult?
It is. Traveling is really, really tricky. Dealing with zips on bags and trying to stuff your bag and do the zip up and planes. Planes are just a nightmare, really. I can't go through the X-ray machine without setting it off because there's something missing. So like, oh, what's going on? There's something not right. So I get patted down all the time, pulled aside, whatever. So I've got I can't get unless my bag's really light, I can't get it up into the overhead locker on the plane. So I've got to hassle on to get my bag up there. Just dumb things like opening your food on a plane, undoing bottles on a plane. It just goes on and on, really. If I'm there by myself, so I've got friends, no problem, but if I'm by myself, which I sometimes am, the poor person sitting next to me cops all the, oh, would you mind just doing this for me? Would you mind just doing that? So, yeah, travelling is actually really difficult.
Yeah. And I guess, as you said before, even simple things like shoelaces. So going into a sports store and try on a new pair of shoes that you want to just see what they feel like without the laces would be challenging, and asking somebody to tie them up, you probably wouldn't get the same feel that you would probably do if you could do them yourself, I would imagine.
Yeah, fortunately I wear the same shoes all the time. I've been wearing the same brand and model for quite a few years. So I just walk in and buy them now and just rip the laces out and try and buy the same colour elastic laces because you want it all to match, of course. So,
Yep.
I like bright runners. So if I'm wearing pink runners, I need pink laces, that sort of thing. So, yeah, it's not too bad with that now. And the running shop I use, they know me very well. So they usually just whip the laces out for me, and sometimes they lace them up for me as well with the elastic. So, yeah, I've got that all sorted.
And I'm curious, has there ever been instances in which people haven't given you help when you've asked? Because as much as you'd want to hope that people wouldn't object in helping another runner, has there ever been an instance in which someone has said no?
I don't think intentionally. I have had a couple of occasions where I've come up to a drink station and it's been really, really busy and it's on the right-hand side and I can't get to it because there might be someone like on my right-hand side between me and the drink station. And so I've just gone, oh, do you mind passing me a drink? And they've just kept on going and got their drinks and run off. Like, oh, thanks very much. But maybe they did not see. I don't know. I give them the benefit of the doubt. So, yeah, there's been a couple of occasions like that where I kind of go, why can't they just put drinks on both sides? And I'll just always be on the left and my life will be easy. But it doesn't work like that. It's all about me.
Except for the people that have lost their left arm. Like,
well, they can go to
you've got to be considerate of everybody now, Kerryn.
Yeah, I go to the right, I go to the left, everyone's happy. But most people are very, very good. Most people totally understanding will they can see if I'm struggling and they'll come and ask if I need help or, they're happy for me to ask. So I haven't had too many issues, fortunately.
And looking back, how's your definition of strength evolved and what does thriving mean to you these days?
Yeah, strength, interesting. For me, strength is all about resilience, never giving up, as I said earlier, being accepting of change, whether you want it or not, and just pushing through when it's hard. That's probably. Oh, sorry. That's probably thriving for me is about, which is what I've tried to do in my new life as an amputee, is that building a life which is full of, my days are full of things that I'm really passionate about, giving me a sense of purpose, fill me with happiness and joy. So I've really been very committed to building a brand new life that involves all of those things. And I think that has enabled me to thrive. That would be my answer. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Olympia always gets involved when there's a bit of a, online meeting.
So for those of you that are watching, we are watching Kerryn's cat jumping up on her desk and walking in front of the camera at the moment. It is very, very hysterical on our side. So, Kerryn, look, you've written this book and I can only imagine, as you were saying earlier, how hard it would have been to put your experiences down on paper, because I know myself, it took me quite a bit of time I just assumed that I would go back to normal. And obviously your body might go to where it wants to, but it's your mind that needs to get back to where it needs to be as well. Does that make any sense? So it's not just your body that's recovering, it's your mind as well. You've competed around the world. You've written this book. What's next in the world? What's next on the cards for you, I guess? Have you got another big challenge?
Well, the next big challenge is to do Chicago in October. And then I'm hoping that Travelling Fit will give me a spot for Boston for next year for number 6. So we'll see how that goes. So I want to get that. I want to get these 6. I want to get that dinner plate medal. That's my current big goal. So I'm really determined to finish that one off. The book's going to take up a fair bit of my time, even when it's published, because there's going to be obviously a bit of a few different launches in different places. I'll travel interstate with it a little bit, so it'll take up a bit of time. Hopefully there'll be some media and more podcasts that come with that. So I'm going to keep driving that for a little while. Once I've got my dinner plate medal. That's a really good question. I think I'll rest marathons at least for 12 months. I might go back to some short course stuff and try and pretend I can run a decent 5K or 10K still. Because, when you run a lot of marathons, your short course just Times just go out the window. So yeah, we'll see. I haven't locked anything in. Will I do the rest of them? I don't know yet. I would like to do the Big Five at some point though in South Africa. So that's kind of somewhere in the back of my mind down the track. But yeah, yet to be determined. But all I can guarantee is there will be more stuff.
Excellent. I can't see you giving up at all, because that's not your mindset. It's you sit there and say you don't know if you'll continue on with the other 3 that are coming out. I can guarantee you will. You'll get the bug once you get your dinner plate, as you call it, and you'll want the other one as well. So
I'll wait till your feedback on the other 3 first. I know you've done Sydney, but I'll wait till your feedback on the others before I decide.
Do the rest. Yep. keep up with us, and we'll let you know. That's for sure. So, Kerryn, I would love to say thank you so much. It's been so fantastic to hear your story. We knew a bit about it from travelling together, obviously. We did Outback at the same time as Tony, and you did it. We did New York together. But it is always great to hear your version of the story. And now with this book as well, I think the whole world gets to hear it, and I think that's a fantastic thing. So for our listeners, where can they purchase your book, and where can they listen to your story, I guess?
Well, thank you, Tara. It's been great to be on. By the way, lovely to meet Peter and certainly it's Luch here. Luch, Luch, thank you. I feel really privileged, as I said at the start, to be part of this, because I've listened to a couple of the podcasts from the last few weeks, and they've all been really interesting listening. So I appreciate the opportunity to share my story. So my book, Mostly Ups, is published on July the 24th. You can pre-order on Amazon for the digital version now. The hard copy, soft copy, not a hardback. How do you say it? Soft.
Paperback?
that should be out within a few days after the book is published, and be able to buy it on Amazon, Booktopia, or through my own website, kerrynharvey.com. Or if you happen to be in Melbourne, I can hand deliver you a signed copy. Or if I'm coming interstate, I can bring some copies with me. So there's varying options. So it's very close. But yes, you can pre-order a digital right now.
Excellent.
And it's on July 24th.
So you've heard it here first, guys. Make sure that you get this book and listen to it, or read it. It is an amazing story, and Kerryn is just one of those really fabulous people that give everything to what she does. So before we wrap things up, though, we do have another segment for you, Kerryn, and it's going to be what we call the Fast 7. So this is where I hand it over to Tony, and he will explain how it works.
All right, Kerryn. It used to be the Fast 6, and then we got 7 world majors, so it become the Fast 7. When we do get to world major number 9, it might become, well, maybe a medium-paced 9 or something. I don't know, but at this stage, it's still a Fast 7. So, just really quick questions and even quicker answers, and the segment goes pretty cool, right? So, You ready?
Yep. Don't need a buzzer.
Don't need a buzzer.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, podcast or music?
Neither.
Best running advice given to you?
For every 10K fun run you do, take a week off.
What advice?
As you do 40K, take 4 weeks off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What advice would you give to someone starting out?
Start small.
Okay. Uphill or downhill?
Uphill.
Gels or blocks? Oh,
Gels.
shut up, Tim. It's not about Gels, okay.
Gels.
Favourite shoes to run in?
Hoka.
Okay, and what is one word that you would use to describe your running journey to date?
Epic.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you for the Fast 7. Back to you, Tara.
Thanks, Tony. I do like that last answer. Epic is definitely the right answer. Yep, without a doubt. So before we jump on to Lucia's tip for tonight, Peter, come on, give us your last clue.
Okay, I think you guys are definitely going to get it now. So whoever is first in gets the non-prize, okay? So the final clue is my real name is not the name most people call me. Yes, Lucia. No?
I'm still going the Bean.
Yeah, I'm going the Bean.
You are correct.
What's its real name?
Well, what is its real name? Don't you guys know?
No.
I
I know it was the jelly, but
Cloudgate, yeah. Known as the
Okay.
Bean. And Kerryn, you can visit it in October when you're there.
I actually have already been. I've visited the Bean already. So
Oh, you can,
yeah, I could go
back
revisit the Bean. Yeah.
and Smash
Okay.
Donuts is not too far away either. So if you fancy a donut like we do, I highly recommend a visit there.
Yeah.
And if you are going to visit the Bean, I do recommend going early in the morning.
Yes.
Okay.
Good tip, yes.
And not to have a fence around it. Yeah.
Didn't know about that one.
Good work, Peter. I liked your trivia. Maybe we could mix it up and have you do a few more trivia questions, I think. So we'll
need
let
to
you
look
off your
at
training wheels. So, Luch, it's time for your tip this week.
Lucia's tip, it stays in my ear. One step closer, the path grows clear. Tim's advice fades like a fleeting breeze. Lucia's wisdom puts my soul at ease.
So, Lucia, what's your tip this week?
kind of keeping in with the theme of tonight's episode, it's some simple tips for running when you're overcoming adversity. Focus on what you can control. Break it down into small goals. Be flexible with what you can do. Most importantly, and what Kerryn has said a few times tonight, remember your why and trust the process. And that's my tip for the week. Simple one. Simple but effective,
Excellent.
I think.
Thanks, Luch. Kerryn, have you got anything else that you'd like to add to that one?
A tip, I would say, we said small goals, didn't we? Let's say don't ignore niggles.
Yes.
I like that one too. Yes.
Mm.
Perfect. So thank you, Lucia and Kerryn, for Lucia and Kerryn's tip tonight. So before this episode is about to end, we're going to go head over to Tim and he's going to tell us what's happening for next week.
Thanks, Tara. Next week on the Flying Runner podcast, we're heading off the beaten path and into the world of trail running, a space that's growing rapidly and capturing the imagination of runners everywhere. Whether you're a seasoned road runner curious about mixing things up or somebody who is completely new to the sport, this episode is all about helping you take that first step onto the trails with confidence. We'll break down what makes trail running so unique, from the terrain and the pacing to the mindset shift that comes with leaving the pavement behind. We'll also dive into the practical side of getting started, including the essential gear, safety tips, and how to choose your first trail run, while sharing insights to help you enjoy the experience and avoid common beginner mistakes. It's not just about running, it's about the adventure, the connections with nature, and defining what progress looks like. If you've ever thought about exploring the trails, then this episode will give you everything that you need to get started. As we keep saying, we're the only podcast with 7-star world major marathoners. And as usual, it'll be another great episode and definitely one not to be missed. I can't wait to wear 8 stars. Over to you, Tara.
Thanks, Tim, after your little stumble over there. That's it for this week's show. I'd like to give a very special thank you to our guest tonight, Kerryn. Thank you for joining us. We hope you've had as much fun on our show as what we've had having you here. Now, our listeners are going to link into your page of kerrynharvey.com, is that correct? And
Yes.
They can also look at your book on Amazon as a pre-order from the 24th of July. Thank you so much for joining us, Kerryn. We wish you all the best with your endeavours, and I'm sure we'll see you on another travelling fit tour somewhere around the world, or another marathon, hopefully somewhere quickly around the world. So we love making this podcast for you, our listeners. So why not contact us with a message on Instagram, Facebook, or email us at happyrunning@flyingrunner.com. Tell us your thoughts. Let us know, have you overcome an issue like Kerryn has? We love getting your feedback and reply to most messages in a very timely manner. Maybe you'll want us to let us know your thoughts on Kerryn's amazing adventures and if you've met her as well. We would love to be able to share that with her. So you can watch this episode on Spotify, YouTube, or listen on Apple, Amazon, and all other major platforms. Every step counts. Keep running, and we'll see you next time on the Flying Runner podcast. Happy running.
Happy running.
Happy running.
Teach the flying runner, run far, run free. Host the 7 stars, inclusive as can be.